All right, now it's time. Hi everyone. I'd like to know uh, where you're coming from, like your nationality. I'm Korean. My name is Brian Yu. I'm going to spend for the next 90 minutes about helping you to really write Korean resume and including Korean cover letter. So yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Netherlands and India. Okay. Thank you very much for commenting. London, Italy, Ghana, Vietnam, Bulgaria, Belgium, Sri Lanka, Mexico, Taiwan, Singapore, Switzerland, France, Spain, Taiwan, China, Korea, etc. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. Yeah, thank you very much for coming and joining. I'm gonna speak English today, in English today, and maybe a little mix in the at the hands-on session. I prepared a presentation, and also I have a resume that passed the company screenings already. And as a bonus, I'm going to share the file for everyone at the end of the session. So stay tuned until the end, and I'm going to share very useful resources at the end. 오케이, 오케이, 오케이. 예, 반갑습니다. 오늘 교육을 맡은 유준영이라고 합니다. 오늘은 영어를 사용할 건데 한국어도 잘 하고요. 예, 한국어도 중간에 약간 섞어서 할 수도 있습니다. I'm gonna little mix, but mostly English this time for those who don't speak English, Korean yet. Maybe it's beginner, whatever. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining. Okay, let me start. A little bit about myself. I'm known as a LinkedIn influencer. So at the end of the session, I'm gonna share my QR code for my LinkedIn connection, so we can connect on LinkedIn after the session. And also, I prepared one um, another QR code for sharing the file about a successful Korean resume. So I'm gonna share that as well. I'm the founder of a Career Lab. It's been like 10 years doing my business, and I'm kind of a LinkedIn educator for career branding in South Korea, having 30,000 followers at the moment. I think the LinkedIn is also very good, especially for those who want to enter startups in South Korea, and also for even for bigger company. One of the company HR last week contact me on LinkedIn. He's from Hanwha, one of the top company in South Korea, and he was like looking for any global talent, and he wanted to recommend anyone. So if you're connected with me from today, I'm going to recommend any of you if somebody in my network wants someone from other countries. So it's another benefit that you can have by having some connections. Previously, I have 15 years of experience about the global sales in the biotechnology company. And now I'm kind of taking care of my son, 8-year-old son. At the same time, I do lecturing, the coaching for individuals, and also for startups. So I have many startup networks. So hopefully I can connect you to the startup founders so you get more opportunity. One thing I want to share, uh, one guy from France last year contacted me on LinkedIn, and he wanted to kind of have a coffee chat with me. So we had a meeting in Gangnam, and in the meeting, that was really good, impressive. He didn't speak any Korean, and even he didn't have a permanent visa in South Korea. But he wanted to, get a job here in South Korea. So eventually, he got a job in the startup that was the tattoo machine making company, and he was in charge of the global sales role actually. So who cannot speak Korean yet, you have opportunity. That's what I want to say. And this is a little bit of photo that I took during my career. So it's a little bit of my career story. The Dubai, the Düsseldorf in Germany. I've been traveling many countries, so That's why I like to learn languages and try to help the foreigners also to get a job. It's a kind of good news because a lot of companies now they want more international people in South Korea. So according to the OECD statistics, Korea is the second fastest um, growing country in terms of immigrants. Did you know that? We have around 3 million immigrants at the moment, and we have around 270,000 foreign students in Korea, which is a 20% increase compared to last year. So, which means, lots of demand, foreigners want to engage with the Korean society and an ecosystem. And the companies, when I meet the startup or other founders, I encourage them to hire more global talents like yourself. So please enjoy today, and I'm going to spend 60 minutes about the resume part and another 30 minutes for about your questions. I've got honestly got like a 140 questions, but I cannot really answer all of them today. So I picked up just the 10 some common questions. So I'm going to answer that. Okay. So this is about today's topic, understanding the Korean resume, what HR managers expect, and what format matters. And common mistakes and solutions. Learn from others' experiences and avoid the pitfalls. And mastering Korean tone, we have a tone and manner. We don't want somebody like too much, bragging about. We always keep some tone like a humbleness in terms of showing ourselves. So it's quite difficult. Actually, for Korean people, they are not really good at showing up like appealing. So that's another problem for Korean job seekers in my case. But as a coach, I try to help them as well. So personally, I've been helping around 200 foreigners get a job in South Korea over the last 10 years. And that's good news. I think, even somebody who cannot speak Korean, they are already getting a job. There are higher chances if you can speak Korean, obviously, because not every Korean in the company member, they speak English, except for the overseas department, for example. So the number three is mastering the Korean tone, write authentically within Korean business culture. So I'm going to share a little bit about the culture understanding. I'm purely Korean, but I've been working with the foreigners, and so yeah, that's a little bit myself. And number four is a real example and applications, and see the transformations and learn key phrases as well. So this is and the result. I mean, this is English CV, as you already are familiar with the CV. And similarly, we have a Korean resume. This time is not about CV, so I'm gonna skip it. But this is actually my CV that passes many global companies before personally. So maybe if you need it, maybe have a screenshot for CV. And we usually put the LinkedIn address nowadays in the English CV as well. And this is the end result of a Korean resume who passed the many companies. His role was like logistics position, I believe, SCM, supply chain management role. She was Korean. She had 3 years of experience in different companies before, and this is something that you need to make in terms of submitting resume, Korean resume to the company members. And I believe maybe over 60% resume is a freestyle. So this is a freestyle. We sometimes have some big company, they have their own format, but most of the company, including the multinational company in South Korea, like a Salesforce, Amazon.com, something like that, they accept the free version, freestyle version, and this is a freestyle version. I excluded the photo, but we usually put the photo. Make sure you put the photo and in the beginning. And we have a summary section. We call the in Korean the 핵심 역량, core competency, and the experience. Next one, the experience, and we have education normally in the back because it's more important. Your experience is more important, an extracurricular activity or other skills. In the end, you put the certification, some experience about some tool name, etc. So this is something I want to uh, give as well to you at the end of the session. I want to share this um, kind of, I mean, the example format, including the presentation file. I'm going to share everyone the presentation as well. Okay. So two main resume format. We have a porter-based resume or company. They provide a resume that could be the company-based resume. It's a kind of typical resume that is not nowadays popular. So that's why I'm going to focus on the freestyle today. The second one, typically used by the startups, the creative firms, or for direct mail application. It has more flexibility, as you see. The category, you can design the category, but normally it's a 3 page or within 2 pages. I think the one page like CV is not applicable in a Korean resume because a Korean resume should have more details, like some numbers, some achievement, etc. So I'm going to explain all of that today for you guys. Okay. And the required information for Korean standard, as I already showed the perfect Korean resume example in a freestyle format, we need to have put the professional photo, still considered the standard in Korea. So if you skip the photo, it's not something common in South Korea. So choose a photo that conveys trust, simple background, and it doesn't have to be like in a natural scene. It could be maybe studio or some you can erase the background or try to be professional. Okay. And personal information, we normally put the name, obviously, and location. In terms of location, you don't have to put the like too much like detailed, like Dong, Ho, like we usually put the Gangnam 구, maybe 구, Gangnam if you're in Gangnam, in the Gangnam district. That's it. You don't have to go too much deeper. You know, honestly, HR managers last, I mean, the yesterday, I had a conversation with one of the HR manager and one of the mentee I had. She lives in Busan, and he applied for the company, and the HR manager, before HR manager, there was a headhunter. Sometimes when you look for some roles, there might be some of the headhunting companies, they list the positions, and she applied for the company by headhunter, through headhunter. And headhunter called her and wanted to change the address to Seoul. Uh, it's not for every company, but this company typically wants someone in Seoul. So that's why she changed the address to Seoul by saying the Francis address in Seoul. So you may have a relative or a friend, you can change it to Seoul address because some HR they concern about the location when it comes to the distance. Sometimes because of this distance, the candidate sometimes drop the offer. So that's why they consider that as well. And the birth year is not mandatory, but normally, um, let's say 50% put the birth year. In this sample, for example, she didn't put the birth date, but some formats you see that has the birth year to understand the age, because age sometimes matter in some companies, not every company I mean, but some companies they want to understand some age level rather than having like 10 years older than the junior. It's hard for junior to kind of mingle with that new joiner. So that's why we have a little bit of hierarchy already. But it's a kind of a easing nowadays. We don't care about the birth year too much, but still some companies care. That's why personal information. But my recommendation for you, don't put it, but some resume will require that as well. And contact number, obviously, the email and address, and keep it concise and accurate. And education, if you have a master's degree, I think education should be on the top. I mean, after the summary, like 핵심 역량. because you can highlight the education if you have a master. Yeah, a master's degree, usually we consider it as a 1 year experience. So master experience is good. I mean, if you have a master, you normally have a research assistant kind of experience, and so you can put your experience like education. You have a master, blah blah, and also in the experience section you put the master course. Maybe you're doing some teaching assistant or the research assistant, something like that. If you have some work experience during the master's degree, put it in the work experience. That is also a good tip. Normally, without the work experience, you never did any part time for the professor. You just put it in the education part, and that is normally considered the 1 year experience. Um, so that's the one I want to share. And certification, always certification and skills, languages. You put all the information that is important in the in the back. I mean the last part of the resume. Korean resume doesn't have to be like 1 page. It could be normally 3 page. Uh, Compact 2 pages. I recommend compact 2 pages for the junior level, and if you have recommend three to 4 pages, you have all the details, because HR manager, they're really detail oriented people. So sometimes they want to look at what are the regions, what are the company information. So they try to go deeper, but if information is not that deep, sometimes they're not really sure about this candidate. So that's the tip. It could be the like a 3 to 4 page for the experienced guy, and the juniors maybe compact 2 pages or maximum 3 pages. And self-introduction, or we call the Korean cover letter. I'll cover cover letter part as well, but today's session is limited. We have just 1 hour, so I'm going to focus on the Korean resume part mostly, but I'm going to cover the cover letter part or self-introduction part. And in the freestyle, there's no kind of questions already given questions, so there are several typical questions that you can put. Normally we put the self-introduction in the cover letter part, and sometimes you don't put the cover letter in the Korean resume. So let me show this one. So if you have a one file and you want to send this file to the HR manager, and this is page 1, 2, 3. And if I want to put the Korean cover letter, it could be the page 4. It's not different file. You just put the cover letter as well in the page 4. So yeah, that's the kind of one file that you send it. And normally it's a PDF file for the HR manager, and it is a DOX, I mean the doc file for the headhunters, because headhunters, in terms of headhunters, they want to change a little bit because they are the supporter, because they want you to pass the screening part, and that if you win the interview and you pass everything, they get like some success fee, like a 15% of your salary. So that's there. If you find any role that is listed by the headhunter, not HR, try to talk to that guy. I mean, talk to the person. I mean, headhunter, because they're kind of supporter. So they sometimes check the some tone and manner of your resume or cover letter, all that. So that's the information I want to give to you as well. So photo matter I already mentioned, so I'm going to skip it. And this one, so maximum page, I put it the 1 and 2 page for the junior. I mean the like entry level, but I recommend compact 2 pages. And normally it takes within 1 minute, obviously. And completeness really matter, especially I'm the sales guy, so I've been like doing the global sales over the last 15 years. So I try to look at some important keywords when I screen the resume. Sometimes I do the interview as well for some companies. But normally the HR managers, they are responsible for the resume checking, the screening, and they are really detail oriented. So if you have one single mistake, that's not good. That's not good. That's not gonna. They want perfect kind of sentences, something like that. So that's why, as a foreigner, it's hard to make it complete in terms of a grammar, or the tone and manner, whatever. So that's why I recommend you guys to really talk to at least the two Koreans about reviewing your Korean resume and the cover letter, because that's really important. Although they don't have to be like expert in terms of resume checking, but they know, they read many books, they know the tone and manner, so they can read it easily. Okay, that's good. You know, but sometimes it's hard to read it, all the difficult terms. That's not good for everyone, even including your friends. So photo, normally the educational background, but if you have experience, like at least the two interns, probably you can switch, like I mean the work experience first, and the education. But I skipped the summary part, but I recommend you to put the 핵심 역량, the summary part, in the between one and two, number one and two. So photo and personal information, summary, and work experience if you have any, and education and skill and language. Sometimes we combine everything. So number four, five, six is like combined. So again, here, yeah, this kind of formatting. She has just like 3 years experience, like a 12 minimum 2 years experience, and this length for freestyle format is good. Okay, what are the mistakes? Over translation and unnatural expressions. Sounds like translated. We use AI. Honestly, many. I go to university, even for Korean university. I mean, the university students in Korea, they use AI as well for the 자소서, or the Korean cover letter in the resume. So you can use it, but uh, you need to avoid the sentences that sounds translated. I'm a person. It's not. It's English, but I think it's a Korean. And I'm a person who can work passionately and sincerely. It's a word that sounds translated. The sentence feels vague and overly formal. It reads like it was written in Korean, and translated word for word into English. So try to sound a professional. I approach every task with the sincerity and deliver result through careful attention to detail. This version is more confident, specific, and natural. It demonstrates the professionalism with the sounding robotic. So that's the mistake, and it's hard for foreigners to figure it out normally. That's the biggest the difficulty. So try to talk at least to two Koreans who try to figure out some unnatural tones. And this one, for example, 저는 열정적으로 일하는 사람입니다. So to direct, I'm a person who works passionately. 열정 is not really good word, because there's a lot of people use that word. So HR manager think it's too common or old-fashioned or something like that. There's no rules. You can use it 열정 in a different way, but normally the 열정 or 다양한, that is something common. So we don't want to focus on those words sometimes. 주어진 일에 책임감을 가지고 꾸준히 결과를 만들어 왔습니다. I take responsibility and consistently produce results. Okay, it sounds better compared to the previous one. It's more concise when it comes to expressing your ability. And I think that responsibility nowadays is really important, because in Korea, young people are considered less responsible compared to the previous generation. That's not my opinion, but the general opinion. So that is something I want to share. And number two, typographical and the formatting errors. As I mentioned, the single mistake, you're not going to pass the resume. Try to look at the formatting and some errors about the letters. So why detail matters. In Korean professional culture, attention to detail is highly valued. And simple typo can break trust and suggest um, carelessness. And the print test, to print your resume and read it aloud. Sometimes when you read a resume over time, you will see, oh, there's some unnatural sound or natural sound. Even net your friends to read the resumes every time, so you can ask them questions. So similar, you can help the Korean friends to write their English resume, because a lot of Korean students, they want to enter global companies, and they want to work abroad. It's similarly like yourself, and you want to get a job in South Korea and get a second opinion. Yeah, as I mentioned, and career coach like myself. For those who joined today, I'm open. I'm going to give you everyone here 30 minutes a virtual coaching coupon. Do you like it? Mm, okay. Yeah, yeah. Please contact me after this session on LinkedIn, so I can help you, maybe resume checking or 자소서 part as well. Yeah, that's a good part. That's the my promise. Okay. The common formatting mistakes, inconsistency date format. So try to use one formatting. So sometimes you have like several job experiences, but they have different kind of a format. That's not good. So try to consistent. And the varying font size. Yeah, font size, sometimes you put 12 and 10 here and 9 here. That's not good. Try to be consistent, in terms of hierarchy, and mixed language with the region. Try to put, Korean version in Korean fully, and English one is English. So sometimes, I mean, the one of the question I got was, try to submit should I submit English one or Korean one if they're like okay with everything. I recommend you to prepare the English one and the Korean one. I mean, the resume, both version. If it's free, like if they don't require any formatting, you try to prepare both, and you submit it. So someone like myself who are comfortable with the English, I'm going to look at more detail in terms of the English one. But someone who doesn't really understand the difference or the English detail, they'll look at the Korean one. So having both version in when you submit, I think is a beneficial. And uneven spacing, yeah, is something like very important thing to remember. So I'm going to share the screen as well, I mean the presentation at the end of the session, so try to make sure those mistakes. And the visa status, if you have a E7, normally E7 is popular. I mean, the E7 is really popular for the entry role, and the job seeking visa also popular, D10. And so normally we go from like D10, E7, and F2. Like, DEF is a kind of a 5-year plan for your long-term stay in South Korea. And if you're a name, and number three is like, you look like a foreigner, and you're Korean, maybe you can put the citizenship status, because misunderstanding could happen. So that's another example. Number four, overly long self-introduction. Normally, the 자기소개서 or self-introduction, less than 400 words. So I'm going to share it later, the hands-on part, the 자기소개서, self-introduction. I prepared a 600 words and 400 words version for both of you. And if it's a freestyle, um, stick to between 400 to 600. It's easy to, and normally we put 4 questions in the freestyle cover letter, or we call the self-introduction. And strengths and weakness is another popular category. I mean, the question. And the motivation why you apply for this company is another popular question. And another one is your career vision. What kind of vision do you have in terms of this industry or in the sector, AI, whatever the sector you're applying for? So, and if it's too long, it's not easy to read, even for Korean. And honestly, the Korean students, I mean, the university students, they are most difficult part, even for Korean. is a 자기소개서. You know, they don't know themselves well. They don't they don't really appeal they don't have experience to appeal themselves to the third party person like HR person. So it's a lot of difficulty as well for the Korean students as well. So yeah, that's another mistake. And yeah, this is four questions in the free format as a Korean cover letter, 자기소개서. And one of the thing is motivation, 지원 동기, and experience, 경력, 경력 사항, and strengths, 강점, the vision, 포부, 뭐 비전이나 포부 means similar to vision. So these are some of the popular self-introduction formula or cover letter formula, Korean cover letter formula. And the self-introduction part, before and after, in English. I want to work at your company because it's a global leader in the industry, and I think it would be a good fit for the team. It's too common and this is vague. It's not specific. I want to contribute to your company's Southeast Asian expansion by utilizing my cross-cultural communication skills and 3 years of experience working with the Korean teams in Vietnam. Okay, sounds very specific. You know, nowadays a lot of K cosmetic company they hire many different talents from other countries, especially the Southeast Asia. We K beauty companies they try to enter those companies, so they are looking for many positions. The brand name the Anua, the company name is the founders. They have a brand and they're really successful in the United States and in Asia, and they're expanding. They are hiring so many talents. So try to understand what kind of industry is growing in South Korea and try to list up some of the companies they're really hiring the people. And I recommend Perplexity as an AI search tool. ChatGPT is good for script writing, um, and planning part. And the Perplexity is really good in terms of job uh, job searching for URLs. And another one is a LinkedIn URL search. You know, when it comes to getting a job in South Korea, when you just submit the resume, I can say it's a 30% effort in terms of job search. So what is the 70%? 70% is, as you already guessed, is networking. Honestly, we have weekly events. We have COEX, one of the exhibition center in COEX in Samsung Station. Every week they have so many kind of exhibitions. This week, from today for the next 3 days, there are so many semiconductor companies presenting exhibitor as an exhibitor. So please visit Samsung Station maybe tomorrow and exchange greetings. Or sometimes you can ask questions about particular company, the product, and receive the business card, and then send the email after the exhibition, and then you're going to have a good impression for that particular company. And the reason why they're presenting at the exhibition or they're really expanding their business, which means they have a potential positions coming up, at least maybe next 2 months, 3 months time frame. So imagine you visit every week the exhibitions and you at least meet 10 companies, and you visit within the three weeks time frame, you meet 30 companies, and you send the email to each sales and marketing manager, and you gave a first impression. And and imagine that 30 companies hire some of the people like yourself for global role or some particular role, and then you can what you can do is not sending resume to HR who gonna reject your resume, but to contact that sales and marketing person you already met in the exhibition and try to explain what kind of a role you're interested in. So that kind of a activity will give you a lot of opportunity, including the referral. The referral, someone recommend you to the HR team, so they resume part is skipping. They just do the interview part. So that's a 70% strategy for your job search. It's a different topic from the resume, but I would like to share this information. Okay, let me let me just take a moment. Yeah, because when I do the presenting, I mean the presentation, I don't see the chatting detail. So yeah, I wanna try to look at any questions. 자유양식. Stephanie asked, how do you call free form resume in Korean? We 자유양식. 자유서식 sounds a little unnatural. 자유양식. Okay. LinkedIn profile. Yeah, I'm going to share the QR at the end of session. Okay. More detailed the job description is the better. Yes, yes. Detail. I don't mean like 7 pages, but like having detail is important. Especially put the number if you have any numbers. And numbers are also always important. Yeah. Monk B, maybe to fit max 2 pages in resume, the content shall be compressed, compact. Yeah, even if you have more experience. But if you have a master's degree, you did a lot of research, and also you have like a 3 internship or like 2 company experience, it doesn't have to be like 2 pages. So hard to put everything in 2 pages, especially the Korean version. In case I recommend maximum 4 pages if you have experiences. And we have a separate webinar for networking. Yeah, maybe um at the end of session there's a rating. So if you want, please recast. So many recasts. I'm going to share more information if I have a chance. Um, yeah, there's many questions. I'm gonna take like a 3 minutes for the questions because like it's a little kind of relaxing now, um, and then continue. Uh, the presentation file will be shared by myself. I'm gonna use the Padlet in this time. At the end of the session, I'm gonna upload the file and give you the QR code to download. Okay? Oh yeah, it's a good question. At the expo, should I simply open about the fact I'm job searching? Uh, is it too forward? Yeah, it's a little. You don't have to. When networking, uh, don't think you're just a job seeker. You try to mention your profession. Like I'm a marketing specialist. I'm studying at this university, and so try to set that tone. I mean, keep that tone in terms of professional, rather than I'm a job seeker. I need a job. My visa is ending. So don't. It gives burden for the Korean Korean professionals, I think. So when you have a first meeting or coffee chat, don't just mention your proposal directly. Maybe if it's a second meeting is good. So the first meeting I always recommend you to be a listener. Try to be listen, and always there's something you can help in terms of a relationship. Normally many Korean people they want to speak English, so you can be a partner for language exchange, whatever the offer, or any activity you can suggest for their based on their demand. That's the one of the networking tip. But since we are resume webinar, I'm not going to share spend more time on that. But yeah, that's a quick answer. Okay. Uh, graphic animation. I think if for those who major like a design or animation and video art, video editing, all that, portfolio is the key. So in the resume, please put the external link. It could be the Canva, it could be the Behance, it could be the YouTube video link, whatever the link that make you stand out in terms of a quality work. Because if you're doing the design or even software development and animation, the video, the visuals are really important. And we expect you to put the some kind of external link in terms of understanding your work quality. What's the difference between the cover letter and the experience specification document? It's a similar, yeah, it's a similar. It's any words that they say. It could be the cover letter, it could be the self motivation letter, it could be the self introduction letter. Some companies they called it like experience specific in document, but normally, some companies has 경력 소개서. 경력 소개서 means is experience. We put the detail about the experience, like when did you do what, who did you work, something like that. So sometimes when you're asked about some 경력 소개서, 경력 기술서, you can separately have a detailed resume for the experience part. But normally, the what I showed, the Korean resume already include the uh, the the detailed job experience. So that's the little tip for that. Mm. And there's a 소제목, yeah. As I mentioned, the 지원 동기 and 자기소개, self-introduction and motivation 지원 동기, and 강점, 단점, strengths and weaknesses, and the 비전, 포부, 비전, um, that's the vision, and those four are popular in terms of free format 소제목. I called it questions, or I could call it categories. Okay. Sorry, it's not Q&A time, but I just took a break by answering. Um, and we have a limited time, so let's move on. And then we're gonna spend 30 minutes at the end of session for Q&A and file sharing. I'm gonna put my file in the Padlet and share the QR link for you. And also I'm gonna share my QR code for LinkedIn connection as well. And I also for the participant, we have like 80 people today. I give you a 30-minute virtual meeting coupon. You don't have to use it today because I'm going to be burned out. So use it maybe for the next 3 months. So probably I can assign some helping. This is volunteer to help you guys really get a job. And I want to have some case study and success cases personally to help the foreigners. And so that's one of the benefits that you can get at the end of the session. And okay, let's come back to the slides, and I'm gonna point out some important slides. I cannot just um, speak about the each presentation due to the limited time. So I'm gonna skip most of them, and I'm gonna focus on the real hands-on example because I prepared one file that is about Korean resume sample and also including the 자소서. So let me share that and show you that all that. I think this webinar I prepared a lot, but ultimately I need like 3 hours to completely deliver everything. But unfortunately, we have a 1.5 hour, and so yeah, let's be wise. Okay, let's come back to the presentation. I'm going to share the file, so I'm not going to cover everything because it takes a lot of time. So you can read it, you can find it, you can understand it, obviously. Um, yeah. So after this one, I'm going to do a little bit hands-on, like you know, showing the real resume and self-introduction letter. So after today, review your current resume and make a targeted revisions because you cannot use the resume for every company. Sometimes you customize at least the motivation part for why you applied for the company, and you get the feedback from this at least two Korean friends, and stay connected, keep learning. Yeah. Okay. So just share the important one, that is resume. Let me share again. This one, yeah, this one is a freestyle format resume. I'm gonna share this file as well. Um, so let me just go down. You feel overall sense. Okay. Oh, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 page for 3 years of experience. 4 page, at least the four. I mean, 4 years experience. And we usually put the photo so in the uh, top, and this is something little creative, like LinkedIn profile. I recommend you put at least one sentence that define your professional career. I think that's a good thing to understand who you are, what kind of. This is not typical Korean resume. I prepared the freestyle version resume writing session today, and among that freestyle, this is a little more creative, but I think this is one sentence will be uh, impactful. And address, it doesn't have to be uh, um, to the end. It could be 구, uh, Gangnam district only, or like Dongdaemun-gu, whatever the location. And the email and phone number normally is important. And this one, very, very important. 핵심 역량. 핵심 역량 is so important because it's the summary of your experience. So in this case, she has 4 years experience in the chemical and manufacturing industry, and she has experience SCM, 물류, we call it 물류, and import, sweep, export, suture, third-party logistics, and customs finance operation. So put the very important keyword and that uh, make the HR manager to think of they can have some picture about you. So 핵심 역량 summary is the really, really important. And even you can put some of the tools like SAP or some of the tools that you're good at, and that can be helpful for the role that you're applying for. In this resume is SCM role, by the way. Okay. Mm, and then let me check. Sorry. Can't see it. Sorry. Okay. Uh, mm. What about now? What about now? Uh, sorry. Now it's visible. Okay. I'm sorry. This is my first YouTube live. I was educated a bit earlier. There might be some technical mistake. I'm sorry for everyone for that. Again, this is resume. Korean lesson. I'm going to share this one as well. So your name and one sentence like LinkedIn title. That's a little creative, but it's smart, I think. We put the logistics specialist and 최대 효율로 order to pay process를 구축합니다. Some kind of contribution you can obviously do for the company, and address, email, and phone number. And as I mentioned, the summary part, the 핵심 역량 part is also important. So I mentioned it. 4 years experience and industries and some of the keywords that are written in the JD, the job description. And if you have a global experience, put it as a sentence. Global experience is important. And some rules, I mean, the tools like SAP, SAP is used for SCM and finance in terms of as a ERP solution. So some JD require this kind of tool, and if you're even you're kind of new to the tool, try to learn from the website like Udemy or Coursera, and spend 1 or 2 days there, and you can put that keyword as well, because although you're the beginner, you know what the tool is. So rather than skipping the position, since because you don't know SAP, try to learn some video from some videos and put it. You have a basic knowledge, so you have much higher chances in terms of a resume screening. And the number four, as you can see, you can put in the Korean resume about your characteristics. You know, a lot of people they want to have a kind of a person who is proactive. So 주도적이다, 도전적이다, the challenging and proactive and pursue the efficiency and responsible and time bound, something like that. Some of the characteristics that catch your their attention. So summary part is the quite the key. Mm. And if you look down, go down, like, you know, sometimes you put the company introduction because some company they don't know exactly. So in this case, she put the company introduction, how valuable this company is. So the value of yourself is also going up because the company itself has a very good reputation sometimes. Or even though it's a startup, sometimes they don't know what kind of industry is it, what kind of startup is it. So put the kind of a uh, uh, self introduction in the Korean resume. In the English resume, that could be simple and one page only. So you cannot write about company introduction. And in the detail, as you can see, it's a category and it has some detail. And sometimes you can have a category as a kind of result. Result means your performance, and you put the some result about your particular experience. So in this case, there are many numbers: 30% reduction, improved 70%, and the inventory accuracy, and manage the 3,000 SKU, the products. So some of the number like these detail are very appealing for HR managers because if you skip or delete these numbers, it's similar to JD, just JD. It doesn't have any detail, so they don't want to look at the other parts because it doesn't have the detail. So my recommendation in terms of a Korean resume is a freestyle format. It's not the answer for every company, but typically this works for the global company and also some startups and also some small medium-sized companies. And most of the big company like Samsung and uh, LG, they have their typical format in terms of resume and self-introduction. So this time is about the rest of the companies because the big companies like just 1%, 99% company they're uh, recording mostly the freestyle and um, let's say 30% they have their own formatting. And I also put the English one for your reference, just one page, stick to the one page. And for the draft to work, I recommend AI because of many Korean the mentees I meet they use AI for the draft work, but the thing is that the um, detail or selection of good sentences are based on the job description you're looking at and some of the tone and manner um, of the resume. Okay. And then another one I want to share before we go to the Q&A part is the self-introduction, or we call the cover letter. And this is 600 words example. And you can put it at the end of a Korean resume normally. So if I submit this resume to the company, I would like to put this at the end of the resume, like this one. And we would normally would put like some category name, like we called it the 소제목. And this is like a one free version that shows some details. So I let me read it. 저는 경영학을 전공하며 스페인어, 영어, 한국어, 세계 언어로 소통할 수 있는 외국인 유학생입니다. This sentence shows your major and your three languages. And 다양한 문화권의 사람들과 협력하면 글로벌 시각을 넓혀 왔습니다. Some people would say this is not very necessary, so I'm gonna delete it because it doesn't show. It's obvious one. Maybe first sentence already, mention already have some kind of senses of you have your, different culture and you have a global perspective. So try to simplify between the first sentence and second sentence. Sometimes you can delete it. So try to simplify. 대학교 2학년 때 친환경 화장품 스타트업 에코플러스에서 마케팅 인턴으로 근무했습니다. 당시 회사는 해외 고객 유입이 거의 없어 온라인 방문자가 월 200명 수준이었습니다. 이를 개선하기 위해 스페인어와 영어를 활용한 SNS 캠페인을 기획하고 멕시코, 칠레의 마이크로 인플루언서 5명과 협업해 현지 소비자에게 브랜드를 알렸습니다. 그 결과 3개월 만에 웹사이트 방문자가 230% 증가, 해외 매출은 40% 증가했습니다. Wow, this is good story, right? Very specific. Second year, I work at the um, cosmetic green startup Eco Plus as a marketing intern, and there was 200 monthly online visits of the website. To improve that, I made a campaign and contact micro influencer, five micro influencers in Mexico and Chile, and did we called it the seeding activity about the branding, and then the result. Wow, it's a very specific, shows your experience and also your name of the company you worked before and your action, all that. So continue. 이후 글로벌 마케팅 에이전시 브라이트 렌즈에서 두 번째 인턴십을 진행하며 동남아 시장을 대상으로 한 브랜드 리브랜딩 프로젝트에 참여했습니다. 시장 데이터를 분석해 전략 제안을 했고 결과적으로 브랜드 인지도는 15% 향상되었습니다. It's another addition of experience. So sometimes you put not just a single experience, maybe a second experience together, and it goes. 저는 데이터와 it's a kind of ending sentence in the summary. In summary, I'm good at the data and the creative storytelling and problem solving. And in this global environment, I'll contribute to the brand, contribute to company growth as a global talent. Okay, it's very simple but very impressive in terms of a two experience. Shows the numbers and what kind of experience you have. This is just a very short version of it. Kind of um, like it's a minimum uh, when it comes to writing the Korean resume. And in the below, I here I prepared some 400 for each about self-introduction and strengths and weaknesses and motivation and future vision and some difficulty you overcome before. So these are the five typical very popular questions, or I called it the category of a self introduction or entire Korean cover letter. And in each sentences there they have some details like 80% and 3,000 people, so have some storytelling in terms of your expertise or something you learned before. And sometimes it's good to mention your failure because you don't have to be like always successful in terms of your career. Okay, so let me read the first sentence and let me check the um, let me let me check again the chatting because I could not see the chatting while I'm explaining. Yeah, resume file. I'm gonna share it at the end of the session. Visible. Okay, okay. Not many questions. Okay, let me share again. This one, self introduction. Let me read it. 저는 스페인어, 영어, 한국어, 세계 국어가 가능한 경영학 전공 유학생으로 다양한 문화 속에서 팀을 이끄는 리더십과 커뮤니케이션 역량을 쌓았습니다. Okay, not very much detailed, but it's okay because I've mentioned the three language ability and also you have a leadership and communication, but you should have some kind of a backup sentences in terms of leadership and communication through mentioning your experiences. So following sentences saying 대학 시절 마케팅 동아리에서 컨텐츠 전략 팀장을 맡아 팔로워 3천 명 규모의 인스타그램 캠페인을 성공시켰으며 두 차례 인턴십을 통해 제품 런칭 홍보물 제작과 데이터 기반 SNS 광고 분석을 수행했습니다. 빠르게 배우고 실행하는 자세로 새로운 환경에서 주도적으로 성과를 만들어내는 사람이 되고자 합니다. Okay, uh, I would say it doesn't have a very detailed information, but it's a kind okay version in terms of self-introduction. I can clearly understand he can speak three languages, have some internship before, and his attitude is about proactive and he's a new adapt to new environment, etc. So if it's a short version, they require like a 400 words. You can put it like this. But sometimes the company they want like a 1,000 words. You're gonna have some more of a content, and there's a little bit of skills that you should understand. If it's 400 now, but what if it's a 100 1,000? You're gonna have maybe I can copy that three of it. So you're gonna it's like just one more. So it's like 800, right? Let me say 800. And in this case, we can have some summary of that story. Let's say, what about this? 3개 국어가 가능한 글로벌 인재. It's the point that you want to deliver. And this sentence summarize the following sentences. So what I mean is if it's just 400 words, you can put it just a one single one, even without the title. But if it's a lengthy, like 1,000 or like 1,000 or 200, something like that, you can divide the several stories about particular category. I mean, the question. And I put it 3개 국어가 가능한 글로벌 인재. And I copied it, so it's the same story, but imagine this is different story, and you put it like, um, what about this? If this person increased the 10,000 followers on social media for the company, we can call it 100만 명의 팔로워를 키운 SNS 전문가. It's a kind of a title or summary of the following sentences. So this is kind of a skills that you can apply for when it comes to writing a Korean cover letter. If it's 800, but you don't want to like put one story like 800, you can divide it like half and half. So do you understand, right? Okay, very good. Let me stop it here and see the sharing. For essay topic, is it advisable to write different success stories in the project or the same stories for each topic? A different story is okay, but same story, but different kind of perspective could be okay as well. Mm. Um, yeah, self-introduction. Normally, cover letter, in my words, cover letter is like includes 4 to 5 questions, and cover letter includes a self-introduction as well, and strengths and weakness, and your future vision and motivation. Sometimes your difficulty to overcome, something like that. If it's a freestyle, when and how should you put the tesasayo in your resume? Yeah, tesasayo is important for the headhunters. They want to understand the tesasayo in terms of helping you. You know, so if it's a headhunting company who want to receive your resume, you can put the tesasayo at the end of the experience. So let me share this one again, show you where is the location that you put the tesasayo, and here is a tesasayo. It's a why you exit the company, something like that. So if it's a temporary work, it's a simple. 계약 기간 만료. It's over. So it's a simple. And this person typically was a temporary job, so we put it, but you don't have to write too long story. My mom was sick. I had to care, something like that. It's too much. Sometimes you try to simplify the reason, and they're gonna ask you in the interview later the particular question. My first company going bankrupt, and the second engaged in the scamming international company. Oh my goodness, that's difficult. Um, okay, we called it 경영 Aqua. Rather than mentioning scamming, whatever is quite difficult. So maybe they doubt you as well for some illegal work, something like that. So let's put it 경영 악화. That means the company is not going well. They have to restructuring. So 경영 악화 혹은 or 구조 조정. It's a similar word, but I prefer the 경영 악화 rather than the 구조 조정, which is a restructuring. What is the best font to write Korean resume? Looks like 맑은 고딕. Yeah, 맑은 고딕 is good, but I prefer the Pretendard. Pretendard is a free font, free creative font. Pretendard. I recommend that. And Noto Sans as well. Yeah, I recommend it. Um, if I'm a fresh out of a master degree who doesn't have any relevant working experience, should I put the right my resume appealing? What should I write? Okay, your project, maybe you are a developer, you have some toy project, you can put the project in the experience part. You know, it could be the experience rather than the work experience. Okay, and then the volunteer could be the experience rather than the work experience. So you can put the work experience, but if the formatting doesn't have the just the experience rather than the work experience, you can put the information about your volunteer activity or extracurricular activity in the work experience, because you don't have any sections to include that. Try to appeal anything. It could be the self project, it could be the toy project for the developer, it could be some club activity. You know, we call it 동아리 activity. In my case, I ran a English debate club in my during my college life. So we have a weekly meeting. We have 200 memberships. So we have 10 people every day. We discuss about the environment and the sustainability. This story was helpful because I ran this over 10 years as a leader, and also I managed many conflict between the team members, and also I learned so much differences between different people. So I always told my story about my club activity as a leader in the interview when I was just a fresh graduate. Okay. um yeah, we have a um now we have 20 minutes more, and there's a survey as well at the end of a session. And also I'm going to share my LinkedIn QR and the files that I showed, every file that I showed in the Padlet QR link as well. So wait a moment. And how much CV information should we repeat in the job portfolio, apart from visual examples like education experience? In the portfolio, only your achievement and progress, rather than showing your all the information, your address again, your certification again. No, just try to focus on any project, and when did you start the project, and how did you solve the project, and what kind of tools, what kind of team members, anything that shows your performance and also the progress. If it's a design, maybe focus on the design work rather than showing 10 design work, focus on 2 or 3 design work that is appealing. Where should we add the publications we have done? Yeah, normally we put the publication as a category. You can add the publication and put the information about the publication, especially maybe at the end, like around the skill section, call it, rather than you put it in the beginning. We start from the personal information, summary, 핵심 역량, and the experience and education and publication and the skills and others. Older, normally the recent one, we use a recent one and the old ones. But if it's a recent one is unrelevant to that job role, probably you can skip it and put the more relevant one, which is an older one. Or you can put it in the extracurricular activity rather than the work experience. You can little doing a massage in terms of a location of a different activity or experiences because you can customize. You need to customize to the role and the JD based on the JD. I don't know Hangul, so how will I write Korean resume? Please suggest some site from where I can. Uh, I think you can use a ChatGPT to have a draft and try to find any